Welcome back. I hope you had a nice break and you're all refreshed and you're ready to start with the peripheral nervous system. Right, so let's see what we're going to do now. We've done the introduction to the peripheral nervous system, and we will now also talk about the autonomic nervous system. Let's move on. Right, the peripheral nervous system can be divided into two parts, namely the somatic or the voluntary part, right? The voluntary part is like what I explained about the cake situation. You see the cake, your brain decides, I want that cake, right? So, but you made the decision. You are actually in control of the situation. And you go and eat the cake. Or you see a ball, you want to kick the ball. You kick the ball. You know, you slap somebody, you eat, you read, you sleep. That is voluntary control, right? So you have control over that. And that's the somatic part of your peripheral nervous system. Right, so that's this part. Now the autonomic, auto means automatic, right? You don't have any control over this. Autonomic is involuntary, right? You have no control, you cannot manage it, it's just happening in your body, and be thankful it's happening or else you would be dead. Right, so like I said, the somatic nervous system controls your skeletal muscles, but it's voluntary. You are part of this decision making, right? Then the autonomic nervous system, this one here, controls the involuntary muscles. Now you have muscles in your organs, your internal organs like your kidneys, your livers, and your stomach. So that is being controlled by the peripheral nervous system. It also affects your heart rate, your breathing. Like I said, imagine you had to control this. You would be dead within a minute. Digestion, gland function. It also allows the body to react to changes, so that homeostasis is a term that actually means the balance in your body is maintained. Now this term you will be doing in much more detail when we do the endocrine system. Right, so now we finish with the peripheral nervous system. We're going down one branch. We're going to the autonomic nervous system being branched into two branches. Right, the first one is the sympathetic and the second one is the parasympathetic. I just want to go back here and show you. So we've done no, not this one, sorry. This one. Why can't I get the one? There it is. Okay, so we've done the peripheral, and remember we said it's 1, 2. Now we're going down. We're moving down. We are seeing what's happening in the autonomic nervous system. Don't confuse the two. Learners sometimes confuse the two. They confuse the peripheral and the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system is part of the peripheral nervous system. Okay, so let's just move back to those slides. So if you look at the autonomic nervous system, we've got the first branch, which is the sympathetic branch. Look at this little man here. He's got big eyes, he's running away, he looks kind of scared, he's just wanting to get out of there. So there's like a lot of stress there. Parasympathetic, para means next to, right, next to the sympathetic nervous system. This guy is chilling. Can you see how he's chilling? He's lying there on his little hammock, drinking a juice, sleeping a bit, maybe drooling some, you know, just chilling, relaxing, enjoying the life. So there's your two branches. Now let's see how it works. Firstly, the sympathetic nervous branch prepares for the energy expanding, stressful emergency situation. That little man had to run. The parasympathetic branch is active under ordinary restful conditions. That's your ordinary life when you're just chilling, you're relaxed, you're just doing your everyday thing. And maybe it will be easier to remember that this one will be when you're writing exams. This guy's going to work quite a lot. And then this one will be when you're on holiday. Right. But let's look a bit further. The two systems have an opposite effect, and this is very important. We're going to go in detail there. One stimulates while the other inhibits. Right. Each organ in the body is innervated. Now, innervated is just a very fancy word for supplied. It's supplied. Right, it's supplied. Ooh, I don't write nicely, eh? Sorry about that. Right, supplied by a sympathetic and a parasympathetic nerve. So if you have a stomach, okay, you obviously have a stomach. Your stomach has a sympathetic nerve branch and a parasympathetic nerve branch coming onto this organ and controlling it. The one will inhibit its function and the other one will stimulate its function. Right. And we call this double innervation. This is very important. Double means because there's two. 1, 2. Innervation supply, double supply, double innervation. But let's look in more detail at double innervation. Right, this is a nice diagram to help you to remember it. And I always like to start with the sympathetic nerves, this one, number 1. Right, so let's give you some background. You are walking in the field somewhere, not where houses are obviously, and all of a sudden you see a lion in the bush. Now this lion looks hungry. He's not sleeping. He's actually salivating. Now, he saw you now. You know, he's thinking, take away. It's going to be nice this time. So what happens? Your body immediately goes in a flight and fright reaction. And you're stressed now, man, because you don't want to be eaten, obviously. Right. So what's the first thing that happens? Your pupils, those big black holes in your eye, becomes very big. It dilates. The pupil dilates. It becomes wider and bigger. Why do you think that would be? It's because now you need all the information you can get. So you need all the light and all the images you can see. Because you now have to see what's the escape route from this lion. Right. So that's why your pupil will dilate when you're in shock. Because you need all the information to see how am I going to get out of this situation. Secondly, inhibits salivation. What is salivation? Salivation is when your glands start giving spit, you know, spit. When you eat, right? That is necessary to digest your food. You can't eat a pizza with a dry mouth. It's going to get stuck here in your throat, isn't it? You need that spit, that saliva, to make a nice round bolus so it can go down the magic gullet there, right? Go down and get digested. So now, if you see a lion there, are you going to feel hungry at all? I don't think so. He's now salivating because he's seeing food, right? But not you. And it's not like you're going to eat a burger while you're looking at him thinking, no, not at all, no. So that will stop immediately. And that's why when people are in car accidents or in a shocking, you know, a shockful situation, they will always tell you that their mouths are very dry. Right. Then the third thing is increased heartbeat. Why do you think we need an increased heartbeat? While you see a lion, right? You need to turn into a heck of a sprinter. You need to be able to run the 100 meters faster than Usain Bolt, right? So now your heart is beating like crazy. It's beating. It's pumping blood to your muscles, right? Your muscles need the oxygen and the nutrients to be a fast sprinter running, right? Your arms, everything now needs to be an athlete. Also, your brain needs all this oxygen because your brain is now doing physics, right? It's now calculating if the lion is 5 meters there, the tree is 15 meters there. If I ran at 5 meters per second, will I be able to get to the tree or should I just run to this boulder? Yeah, you know, physics, you're thinking now, fast, because you need to get an escape route out of this situation. Also, your airways will relax. Now, airways relax means those bronchioles, and that is a throwback to grade 11, isn't it? Bronchioles, those lung pipes that you have, when they start relaxing, they don't go smaller, they go bigger, right? And when they go bigger, there's more air going in. If there's more air going in, there's more oxygen. You need oxygen now, right? Lots of oxygen in the brain and the muscles. So that is why your bronchioles will start relaxing so that you can get more oxygen. Right, inhibit activity of the stomach. Like I said, you don't feel like a burger when the lion is chasing you, right? So your stomach, when it's churning and digesting food, it's taking up energy. You cannot spare energy now. You need all your energy to run away. So your stomach will stop. No digestion is taking place, right? Inhibit the gallbladder. Gallbladder is also part of digestion. It is giving bile, which is now digesting fats. You don't need to digest fats now, you need to run, so it will stop. But the liver will release glucose. Glucose is blood sugar, right? And you need that sugar for energy. So that's what the liver will be doing for you now. It will also inhibit the activities of the intestines. Right, now think of your intestines, a throwback to grade 11 again. Peristalsis is the term for your muscles in your intestines to contract and relax, contract and relax, contract and relax. So when food is going down, this muscle will contract and push the food down. This one will relax, and then this one will contract again, pushing the food down again. Do you need this process when you run away from a lion? No, you don't. No, you don't at all, because that takes energy. You don't need to spend your energy on anything else. Right. Relaxed bladder. No, it doesn't mean you're going to wet yourself now. No, that's not what relaxed bladder means. Relaxed bladder means the urine is now staying in the bladder, because you do not have time to do a pit stop now around the bush. Sorry, I just need to do a quick, urination here around the bush. No, there's no time for that. So the bladder stays relaxed so that you don't urinate. Maybe it can be a strategy to urinate on the lion, but I don't think he'll mind, a urinated human being. I don't know. Also, same thing here. Contract the rectum. You don't have to do number 2 now while you're running away from the lion. Right, so your rectum is contracting, keeping everything inside. You don't have time to sit down and do things because you have to get away. So this is basically the sympathetic nervous system. It will protect you and get you away from a stressful situation. You will always have this reaction when you're under a lot of stress. So that is why, and I'm going to give you a secret about getting older. When you get older, you're a lot of stress in your house. You've got children and finances and stuff. Then you have a lot of stress. And a lot of older people complain about stomach problems and intestine problems. The reason being this. Right, there it is. It's because of the sympathetic nervous system having to work all the time because you're under stress the whole time. Right, but let's have a look at the parasympathetic nervous system. Right, the parasympathetic nervous system, like I said, is next to the sympathetic nervous system. That's why it's para. Right, now that will be the opposite effect. Picture this, a teenager on a couch, on a bed, with a cell phone, busy with Instagram or TikTok, what are you guys doing now? Right, so you are relaxed. Your eyes don't need all the information. So your pupil constricts, right? It's not as dilated as when you're running from the lion, okay? So you're like chilled now, man. And while your pupil is constricting now, the saliva is being stimulated. Like I said, that little guy lying in the hammock, drooling. You are eating on your couch or while you're busy with your phone, eating chips, bread, whatever you have there. So like I said, when you eat a pizza, you need saliva, or else that thing will get stuck in your throat. Right. So you are relaxed and you are salivating. Next thing, slow heartbeat. You don't need a fast heartbeat when you're lying on the couch. You're quite relaxed now. You don't need all that oxygen. Your airways will be constricted. So those bronchioles will now just go back to normal size. They will constrict. That doesn't mean you won't get any air. It just means less air will go in. You don't need so much oxygen when you're lying down there doing basically nothing, relaxing. Stimulate activity of the stomach. Right, now your stomach will start digesting food because you've been eating all day or you've just eaten 10 minutes ago, so it needs to do its work. And you've got all that spare energy, so the stomach can start digesting, right? Gallbladder, the same thing. You are digesting, so you can now secrete bile and stuff like that. Stimulate activity of the intestines. Peristalsis can happen now. Your bladder can now contract, get all that urine out. Obviously, when you go up and do it, you don't have to just lie there and do it. And also relaxing the rectum, so you'll be able to go to the toilet now. All right, because you don't need to run away from a lion. So my advice to you is the following. These are 2 systems. Know only the one. And I actually always prefer the sympathetic one. You think of the lion. What don't you need when you have a lion running after you? Digestion. So all the digestive things will be inhibited. What do you need? Oxygen. So heartbeat will be fast. Air or oxygen, that will be your lungs. The bronchioles will relax. You have to go and have a look, where can I escape? Big eyes, right? So if you can remember that, the parasympathetic is just the opposite. Right, so you don't have to go and study all of this. If you understand running away from the lion, you will be able to do it. Okay, but let's move on and look at some questions. Name two parts of the peripheral nervous system. Right, remember I said don't get confused between the autonomic and the peripheral. So the peripheral is the somatic and the autonomic nervous system. Name the branch of the autonomic nervous system that restores an increased heart rate back to normal. Right, unfortunately the answer is already there, but just think the heart rate was now, your heart was beating like this, you had stress. Which one now has to go bring it back down? The one that makes you chill, the parasympathetic. Right. Right, dilates the pupil of your eye. Remember, dilates means going bigger. When do you need a big pupil? When you see the lion. So that would be sympathetic. Right. Then, next, describe the functioning of the autonomic nervous system. Right, so you have to tell them what it is composed of and what it does. That's basically what they want there. So let's have a look. It is made up of the parasympathetic, you see already got a mark there, and sympathetic. Already 2 out of 4, just by saying that. Every organ and gland is controlled by both parts. That fancy word, double innervation, you get a mark there. It controls involuntary events. Remember, you don't have any control over this. And then, I mean, there's already 4 marks, but if you said sympathetic nerves generally increase response, and parasympathetic nerves generally decreases response, you'll also get marks. So there's 6 marks, but you only get 4.